Once upon a time, in a land far away, there were some goofballs who had an idea for a podcast where you would pit two or more fictional characters against one another. One of these doofuses said, the matches should be based on who is the strongest. Another said, no, they should be based on who is wisest. And yet another said, that's silly. They should be based on who has the most scary, sexy fan art. And so they argued back and forth until finally a voice of reason pierced through the noise saying, friends, they should be based on whatever we want, and then we'll just yell about it for an hour. And so the friends agreed, and the kingdom was saved.
Woo! Yay, kingdom.
Welcome to Smash Fiction, the podcast where we pit two or more fictional characters against one another for any reason you can think of. This week, Beauty and the Beast versus Aladdin and Jasmine in a trial of newlywed proportions. Although there are many Disney couples, the romance is strong with these ones, and so naturally, we have locked them into loving combat, where they will prove their love for the prize of being the most Disney-perfect couple. Each team will have to prove that they have the ability to ace the Newlywed Game, a game that involves deviously both knowing things that delight your partner and distress your partner, while also being able to remember what color their eyes are. Knowing your partner is key to winning, and being observant is a must. Ooh, ah. Those are live audience noises. As if it wasn't enough of a burden, you must also find a way to build a love nest for yourselves in the middle of nowhere, out of whatever you can get your hands or claws on. Your lovebirds must also work together to construct a piece of IKEA furniture without destroying it or your relationship and trust. Craftiness, silence, and patience will be your allies in the Spook Your Spouse challenge, where you must prove the ability of your pairing to sneak up on one another and yell boo. These challenges may seem arbitrary, but I assure you that I spent a whole week doing some science, and these tests have a 1000% rate of accurate fullness. Both pairs met under difficult circumstances, and yet their feelings have brought them both to the altar eventually. In a world of princesses and love stories, how can anyone judge which love is the best love? Surely that's a decision for the heart, and the heart alone. Wrong! It's a decision for me, Megan Bob, this week's judge. In preparation for this match, I had my heart surgically replaced with a DVD of 10 Things I Hate About You, so I'm basically an expert on love now. It's fine, it skips a little bit, but it's all good. Representing Team Jasmine and Aladdin are real-life human couple Kit and Dan Mulcairn.
You may think Belle's in love. Beast can't even keep her home. Not without Stockholm Syndrome, 'cause this romance really sucks. Sure, he looks kinda cool, but he's really a weenie. I don't even need Genie to prove he's a chuckle fuck.
We fell in love without the help of furniture. Without your candlestick, you're just a dick who screams at his reflection. We fell in love. So let me offer you a cure. It just takes some decency and chemistry, but that would mean you'd have to be mature.
We fell in love.
We fell in love.
You fell in shit.
You fell in shit.
Feel free to choose.
To admit you lose, you should just quit.
Wow. Oh my god. Can a podcast be framed?
I don't think that's physically possible, actually, no.
We'll find a way.
I mean, I know. I'm like, oh shit, I need to though. All right. Representing Team Beast and Belle are real-life human couple Sharon Holden and Miles Schneiderman.
They look so scared and unassured. They realize they never talked that much before. She's so naive, he's immature. Neither remembers what they started dating for.
He's walking sadly out the door. He's scratching at his fleas and looking so forlorn. His carpet's packed, our booze secure. I guess she isn't taking his shit anymore. Poor and so fond of lying. He's not much when his name's not Ali. She's pampered and blow-drying. It's really a miracle they made it to Act 3. They've met their match, we shall prevail. There's just no way that our relationship could fail. So now you hear our primal roar. We're coming harder than we've ever come before. If that's suggestive, then your mind's a dirty whore.
And you've never seen a Disney movie before.
I mean, yeah, what am sex?
Yes.
Oh,
Very
wow.
good. Very, very
Oh
good.
my God. I'm just, it's like choosing between my favorite children now. In order to see who went first this week, I asked each team to come up with a better way of getting people to fall in love than the traditional Cupid's arrow gambit. Team Aladdin, which is what I'm calling them now, suggested getting bees to dance their special pollen dance. But instead of telling you where pollen is, it gives you the name of your true love. Early attempt to teach bees what love was ended in failure, however. Although I've been assured that progress is being made. Team Belle, and that is what I'm calling them now, offered leaping out of a bush in full WWE regalia, putting the target into a half Nelson, and then tenderly assuring the person that they are beautiful inside and out and that they should really give insert name here a call. For sheer terror, Belle took the win and will start us off. Be our guest and begin the proceedings.
Belle is amazing. Not only is she incredibly intelligent, I mean, just look at all those books she reads, but she's also observant, kind, empathetic, and doesn't let herself be pushed around. Of course Beast falls for her. Belle has an inner beauty and light that shines through her striking exterior beauty. She sees the good in the Beast from the moment that he saves her and breaks his hard shell to become softer and kinder. She sees Beast's temper and other faults, but recognizes how hard he is trying, and she wants to see the reason why he acts the way he does. She alters her tone of voice with him, allows him to trust her by keeping her word, and even changes the way she eats soup to make the Beast feel more comfortable. Belle and the Beast want to learn about and make each other happy. Belle does this with patience and kindness, like when she teaches the Beast to read and helps him feed birds.
Before you can understand how thoroughly Belle and the Beast are going to own this match, you have to remember they spent months getting to know each other while Belle was a guest/prisoner in the Beast's castle. And while it's true that they got off to a rocky start, consider the actual timeline. On the first night Belle is there, she refuses to have dinner with the Beast, which makes him order his staff to starve her, an order that they disobey by feeding her in celebratory fashion as seen in the Be Our Guest song. After eating, Belle becomes restless, decides to tour the castle, dodges her chaperones, sneaks into the forbidden West Wing, gets caught there by the Beast, flees the castle in terror, is set upon by wolves, gets saved by the Beast, who is wounded in the process, and then takes him back to the castle to patch him up. Hashtag Dan List. All of this takes up...
That was a Dan process at best. Hardly a list.
Hey, it's enough out of you, sir.
Wait
Now.
for rebuttals.
Yeah, please rebut that. All of this takes up about a third of the movie's total runtime, but in terms of the in-story chronology, it all happens on the same night. After that, they completely stop bickering and yelling at each other and grow increasingly close.
While we don't know exactly how long this period lasted, based on the weather conditions, it must have been at least 3 months. That's at least 3 months they spent learning about each other. Hashtag montage. Holy shit, they actually talk? A Disney couple that decides to wait more than 72 hours to get married? What the actual fuck? When did Aladdin and Jasmine get to learn these things about each other? Was it when Jasmine was pretending to be poor? Or when Aladdin was lying about being Prince Ali and being completely oblivious to her wants in a suitor? Was it when Raja hated him, when Abu hated her, or when Aladdin was trapped in jail, the Cave of Wonders, or fucking Siberia?
Nope, none of those times. They almost made out right after meeting each other, but then he's arrested and Jasmine is told that he's been killed. While crying into Raja's fur about it, Jasmine at one point says, "I didn't even know his name." Well, she clearly didn't know or remember much else about him either, since she goes completely Lois Lane on him upon first meeting Prince Ali. During the balcony scene, she briefly is all, "Do I know you from somewhere?" But then she gets right in his face and doesn't recognize him. Then he takes her on the whole new world magic carpet mystery tour, after which she immediately decides to marry him. At this point, they have spent maybe 12 hours together, maybe. Aladdin knows she has eyes and hair, which is good, but he doesn't seem to know the color of either of them. I mean, good on ya for remembering how much she wants to get out of the palace, kid, but let's be honest, if Jasmine really knew how to fulfill her own needs, she would have married the carpet. At no point in the movie do these two learn anything about one another aside from she's actually a princess and he's not really a prince. What's her favorite food, Al? Oh, only 10 seconds left to answer. Oh, a stolen apple. That is incorrect. She's actually really into Indian cuisine, like a lot of Abbasid Caliphate royalty. But you wouldn't know that because you haven't even spent a full day in her company. And as for you, Jasmine, I mean, it's all well and good to trust somebody, but even what little you think you know about this guy is questionable because your boy is a liar, and you know it. He lied about being a prince, and when you called him on it, he kept lying about it. Then he broke his word to the genie because he needed to keep that lie going as long as possible. You are lucky that Jafar got his hands on the lamp when he did. If he hadn't, you'd be calling this guy Ali your whole life, or at least until he cheated on you with one of the any females he spends the movie giving eyes to, and getting ready for this game by asking him about his home country, the rich and fertile land of much farther than you've traveled, I'm sure.
Belle knows the beast's thoughts and fears, and is smart enough to figure out that the castle is enchanted all on her own. Belle knows his eyes are blue, not only because they're striking, but because she recognizes them in the ripped portrait in the West Wing from a glance. And if she doesn't know his hair color, it's because she's not looking, because she has it literally stuck everywhere. Belle and the Beast have the answering questions portion of the game unlocked, but what about the other challenges? Belle would be highly capable at building IKEA furniture. Her father is an inventor, and she's helped encourage him and used tools her whole life. She's worked on a farm, hitching up horses and taking care of animals all alone. She's strong and saves everyone, getting both her father and the Beast on Philippe to take care of them. And she defends herself from Gaston when he gets super creepy. Beast is incredibly strong, willing to learn and take direction from Belle, and she'll be able to read and decipher the wacky translated directions. Between the two of them, they'll be able to lift and use any tool necessary for the build. Can you imagine what's going to happen when Aladdin and Jasmine tried to build their furniture? I can. Neither will know up from down or a hammer from a socket wrench. One is a princess brought up in a palace with everything done for her, and the other a street rat. Did you see that place? I don't think he even knows what shelves are, let alone how to make them. Jasmine will cry at the first splinter in her delicate hand, and Aladdin will be lost without his monkey and genie to help him.
The Love Nest challenge is, if anything, even easier. Belle, as Sharon mentioned, is a strong-as-hell farm girl who gets both the Beast and her father up onto horseback by herself, and a supreme wilderness navigator who finds Beast's castle in about 5 seconds. Beast is probably even stronger and a natural hunter, and they're both rural people who live next to a forest. They've totally camped before, guys. Meanwhile, over here you've got Jasmine, who was raised in a palace and had never been outside its walls prior to the movie. She also at one point says, "I've never done a thing on my own." And Aladdin grew up in a bustling urban environment where food and shelter was readily available, if not exactly in the most legal sense. Dude is gonna have some issues finding food without a street full of vendors advertising it. Moreover, remember that these two have vastly different ideas of what ideal living conditions look like. Aladdin thinks living in a palace setting is the greatest thing ever, while Jasmine longs for the freedom of poverty because she's privileged, but whatever. The point is they'll be arguing about what their little love nest should look like the whole time, as opposed to Belle and the Beast, who are on the same page about the quality of their little private castle.
And then there's the spooking challenge. And at this point, it just isn't fair anymore. Sneaking up behind your partner and scaring them? You mean the way Beast sneaks up on Belle when she's in the dungeons and scares her? Or maybe you mean the way Belle sneaks into the West Wing and scares him? One of the coolest things about the Beast is that with all his size, he moves with remarkable grace. He doesn't just sneak up behind Belle without her hearing him, he also uses stealth in his fight with Gaston. And besides the fact that she gets right in front of the rose before Beast sees her, Belle also demonstrates some serious cat judo when kicking Gaston out of her house, as well as perfect situational awareness.
Which cannot be taught.
Oh, God.
At the beginning of the movie, when she walks home with her nose in a book, threading through crowds, jumping over jump ropes, and deftly avoiding a bucket of water, all without looking up. These two are scary agile, and while Aladdin's parkour display in one jump is impressive, he never actually does any sneaking. Ever. Preferring instead to rely on Abu to distract people. Same goes for Jasmine. She's got a decent pole vault, but she never catches anyone by surprise. Having a high dexterity doesn't mean much if you don't put any skills into stealth.
Sorry, guys. You might be diamonds on your own, but as a duo, you've got it pretty rough.
Oh, wow.
Should have saved that last wish for some quality couples therapy, because the dude at the beginning of your movie don't sell that shit. Our tale is as old as time, but your hourglass just ran empty.
Oh, all the Disney references. Okay. All right. Those were moving arguments from Team Beastel. Okay, Team Jazzladen, show me a whole new world.
Before I start, this episode of Smash Fiction is brought to you by IKEA. IKEA, destroying relationships one misaligned piece of furniture at a time.
That really should be their tagline.
Although if you do want to sponsor us, we will take your money.
Yep, absolutely.
Totally.
Oh God, can we pronounce the names of those pieces of furniture?
I will try for some euros.
Going full Wade Wilson on
Do you know
us.
what
I
the
see how it
exchange
is.
rate is, Kit? I'll learn Danish.
Okay, real talk. Aladdin probably can't read. But that's okay, because IKEA's instruction manuals are like puzzle hieroglyphics crafted by a madman to break the spirits of the weak. But at least they're pictures, so. And as Dan will touch on, both Aladdin and Jasmine are very adept at problem solving. But more importantly, the only time we ever see these two get cross with each other is when Jasmine finds out that Aladdin was lying to her. That simply won't come up during furniture assembly. Al is always respectful, but not deferential, so it's not like he's gonna rip the instructions out of her hands and take a tone. And the only time Jasmine's temper comes out is when she's being disrespected. On the other hand, Beast's whole shtick is that he's a royally entitled man-child who has gone his whole life having things done for him whenever he yelled at someone or something. Belle may have calmed his furry ass down a bit, but she's not a trained anger management counselor. That temper is going to come back from time to time, and the cruel gods of IKEA say the time is now. And it's been shown that Beast's temper does get to Belle. As she is cleaning his wolf wounds, they begin to take turns yelling at each other. There will be no "thank you for saving my life" to break the tension during this fight. Only the sounds of tearing paper and improperly assembled plywood being flipped into a wall. What's next? Camping? Camping? My boy Aladdin has been homeless for most of his life. What seems like a fun, exciting way to get off the grid for anyone privileged enough to live with a roof over their head every night, to Aladdin, that's just life. We see in the movie that he built sort of a man cave for himself in an abandoned building, but he wouldn't always have had a building to squat in, especially when he had to stay one jump ahead of the saber-wielding Popo. I guarantee that if Al needed to, he could make the most amazing goddamn pillow fort you've ever seen using only some stolen clothes, a few pieces of wood, and the hair off a camel's ass. But I assume these teams will be starting with some actual, albeit simple, camping gear, so even easier for Al. Now, even though Jasmine is a royal, probably with no camping experience, she's so thirsty for new pursuits after being locked up in a castle her whole life that she can no longer be contained. Although Aladdin will probably have to guide her in the basics of survival, the princess proved early on in their movie that she's a quick learner. After simply watching Aladdin pole vault from rooftop to rooftop one time, she was immediately able to do it. By the way, you need some well-disciplined muscles to be able to pole vault, so trust me when I say that Jasmine will be just fine hiking and climbing to get the things they need. While Beast will be yelling at his camping gear for not assembling itself, and probably breaking a lot of it when the missus isn't looking, Belle will be spending most of her time trying to keep her new husband's temper in check, and not much else. She's a bookworm, but the only books we ever hear her talk about are romantic fantasy novels. Yeah, she gets some light cardio in by walking while she reads, but that's probably where her physical fitness ends. And lastly, on this note, neither Belle or the Beast have had to learn survival skills. I'm sure Beast could survive a harsh night out in the wilderness, but, he's the kind of guy that will be grumbling the whole time about how they should have rented an RV. And lastly, spooking? Is this a game couples play? Why would anyone want to breed a constant fear that around every corner of your house your partner may be lying in wait ready to raise your heart rate?
Answer the question.
I don't get it, okay? I was looking at this part and
Have
going,
you
why?
never done that?
I've totally done that.
Yes,
No,
I've done that.
No, because I don't want Dan to do it back to me. Here, okay, look. Someone's gonna get reflexively punched in the throat, is all I'm saying. Anyway, let's start with Aladdin, the street rat who needed to steal food to survive. When it comes to moving quickly and silently, Al will have no problem sneaking up on Jasmine, probably from crazy angles of attack, and you better believe being barefoot helps. As for Jasmine, she probably can't manage a straightforward sneak attack on Aladdin. He's too practiced at avoiding the cops. However, she's a clever girl, and could fake being kidnapped or some such emergency, waiting for Aladdin to run into a room before dropping down onto him. Raja style. Yeah. But seriously, why spooky? That's just asking for an accidental throat punch. No, don't do it. And I shudder to think of what Beast could do if he got spooked. But honestly, I don't know that Belle could sneak up to him. I mean, he's got those animal ears. Probably hears the tapping of shoes on the marble castle floor quite well, right?
Okay, let's talk about the other part of this match, the whole getting to know you bit. So this is a test of knowledge and memory, but it's also a way of measuring how interested you are in your partner. It's also a match of compatibility. You need to be able to intuit things about your partner that you may never have explicitly discussed before. And if you're looking for a compatible couple that's super interested in one another, Aladdin and Jasmine are a wish come true. Aladdin and Jasmine have an instant and undeniable connection. When he rescues her from a chop-happy street merchant, all he whispers to her is, "Just play along." With only that barest of direction, they construct a bizarre narrative about Jasmine being Aladdin's delusional sister, but they're smooth and convincing enough that the merchant is willing to let them go. The two of them yes-and with each other like a couple of lifelong improvisers, despite never even having had a conversation with each other. The next scene takes place in Aladdin's home, and it reveals how much they already understand about each other, despite their dramatically different backgrounds. Hell, they literally finish each other's thoughts during that conversation. They're about to share their first kiss, again, minutes after meeting, when the guards burst in to capture Aladdin. He then extends his hand to her and says, "Do you trust me?" She says, "Yes," and the two of them jump out the window. That's the level of trust and understanding they have on their first meeting. Throughout the movie, we only see their compatibility and attraction grow. Whether it's Jasmine falling in love with Prince Ali, even though she actively tries not to, or the two of them silently colluding to outsmart Sultan Jafar in the climax, these two understand each other on a crazy level from the get-go. And here's the thing. When you're really into someone the way that Aladdin and Jasmine are into each other, they become your whole new world. You are crazily interested in them and think about them nonstop. You want to learn everything you can about them. The story of Aladdin is supposed to take place in the 9th century, which coincidentally coincides with the birth of chemistry in the Middle East. No surprise there, considering the incredible chemistry that Aladdin and Jasmine are popping off from minute one.
Fuck out of here.
And this chemistry is going to fuel an intense interest in each other that will see them through these initial challenges. Now, how are Belle and the Beast going to do? Belle is pretty bright, I'll grant you, but she doesn't have much in the way of empathy or interest in others. Even when everyone in her little town either A, wants to jump her bones, or B, wants to kill her because everyone else wants to jump her bones, she doesn't even notice because she walks around with her nose perpetually stuck in a book. During that entire opening scene, she doesn't once refer to anyone else by name except for Gaston. More than likely, she doesn't care enough to learn their names because she's not interested in anything that isn't printed on paper. Similarly, the Beast is overwhelmingly self-interested, which is to be expected. Even before his transformation, he was a doted upon prince whose arrogance and cruelty were such that he found himself forcefully relegated to the pages of the monster manual. After his transformation, these selfish traits were only increased, as we see him grow explosively angry and intensely broody, and has to resort to straight up kidnapping to even have a chance at finding love. Look at it this way. In theory, Belle and the Beast have every reason to fall in love. The Beast knows that Belle's love is his last chance to return to human form. They have a whole palace full of furniture wingmen working to help them fall in love with each other. The Beast works hard to fight back against every instinct he has to not be just a horrible person, and it still takes the whole movie, which takes place over the course of months, for Belle to even say, I love you. And that's after Beast is literally dying in front of her. They're just too different, too stubborn, and too incompatible. In contrast, there is no reason Aladdin and Jasmine should fall in love. Their whole society is built around keeping people like them apart from each other. And there are so many instances throughout Aladdin that should break them apart, but they are completely on the same page with each other from the second they meet. And their mutual attraction, physical, mental, and emotional, grows incredibly quickly. Belle and the Beast need all the help they can get. And even then, they barely even manage to get together. But the world itself could try to keep Aladdin and Jasmine apart, and it wouldn't be enough.
Touching words from Team Jazzladdin. Okay, now we move on to rebuttals, in which hearts are broken, and we all say things that we'll regret later. Team Beastel, you may attack first.
Okay, so first of all, she doesn't have Stockholm Syndrome.
My bigger issue is that, you cannot deny that the Beast is causing trauma. The dude kidnapped her father, and then kidnapped her, and basically, keeps her in this state of terror for the first chunk of the movie.
He didn't kidnap her, though. She chose to take her father's place. She chose to be there. There was no kidnapping occur. And she tells him to fuck off and to control his temper. She doesn't take his shit. She's not terrorized by him. She tells him, you need to learn to control your temper.
And then he does.
If she's not afraid of him, then why does it take her so long to run off? And then she fails to run off because
it doesn't.
wolves.
She runs off the first night.
Right,
that
and
all
then
happens
wolves,
on the
and then
first night.
And then
it
the
was
rest of the time, she sees him changing and likes him.
Yeah, it's
She sees changes.
I shouldn't leave anymore because wolves. I'm stuck here. Fuck. Instead of him being a nice guy and letting me go home safely in one of his magical carriages that walks itself to town.
Kit.
No.
She could have gotten away right there. The Beast saved her from wolves. The wolves ran off. The Beast was hurt. She could have left. Instead, she chose to put him on the back of her horse and take him back to the castle.
Yeah, that was stupid. Get away from him, Belle. He's not a good person.
Look, what you guys were basically talking about was the fact that Aladdin and Jasmine is this love that was meant to be that nothing can get in the way of, whereas Belle and the Beast fight and have arguments and, have to kind of resolve their shit. That's how real relationships work, and that's how strong relationships work. So, the first time I left my shoes in the middle of the floor, and, Sharon had to yell at me about tripping over my shoes, that little argument made everything between us stronger. You can't just say, oh, the world is conspiring to bring them together because they never have an argument. If you never have an argument, make out or almost make out on your first meeting and then get married after a day, that's not a strong relationship.
I can understand where you're coming from, and to a large extent, I agree with you that every couple has these issues that they need to get over, but what we need to look at is the way in which these characters interact with each other sort of affects their ability to address challenges. Both Belle and the Beast are thoroughly stubborn when they don't get their way. Belle wants to spite the Beast so bad that she stays in her room for hours until she has to physically leave to go eat. Beast is so uncontrollably emotional that any little setback and he either blows up completely or goes into his dark room in the West Wing to mope and listen to Dashboard Confessional. When Aladdin and Jasmine are confronted with obstacles, think of that last scene when Jasmine is being held captive by Jafar and she sees Aladdin beginning to sneak into Jafar's throne room. All Aladdin does is raise a finger to his lips, and that's all she needs to come up with this plan to start distracting Jafar so that Aladdin can sneak over to the throne. That's the level of problem-solving skills that they have. Belle and the Beast, they may get over their problems eventually, but they have a big ol'
first night, yes.
But they have a big ol' screaming match before they do so. Aladdin and Jasmine just play off each other.
On another side note, the furniture doesn't help them. There were frequent times when the furniture says they did it on their own. Who would have thought? They did not contribute at all. Most of their advice was stupid.
During the Something That Wasn't There Before song, it becomes clear that Belle and the Beast have been spending more and more time away from the furniture. Again, after that one night, which is a whole big chunk of the movie. It wasn't a protracted length of time.
I mean, I think that Belle would have left a lot sooner if the utensils hadn't gotten together and sung Be Our Guest. Having some light in the darkness is an awfully good way to keep you in the presence of a giant monster who wants to keep you captive.
That is true. If the furniture wasn't animate, she would have been so alone and miserable on top of already being yelled at by this person who took her father and then didn't want to let him go unless she stayed instead.
All right, so I want to touch on this thing that you guys said. Belle's town, the town that she doesn't have, like, empathy for and everything. Yeah, that town's an asshat. Okay? That town fucking sucks.
Oh my god!
I wouldn't talk to anyone in that place either. That whole fucking town sings along with Gaston when he's singing his idiotic song about himself. They all go along with locking up her dad. They go along with everyone. Fuck that place.
They also sing a ton about how weird she is.
Yeah, like, seriously, that story is the story about Belle and the Beast coming from shitty environments, in the Beast's case, created by himself, but they come from shitty environments where they were selfish people, and they come together and they learn to be unselfish, because again, you do not see them displaying that behavior after that one night. In fact, after that one night, they behave extremely selflessly toward one another, including Beast giving Belle an entire fucking library, and her going back to the castle to save his life.
Wait, what about that one guy who owns the bookstore?
No, fuck that guy.
The store that she borrows books from. It's not a library, Belle.
Hey, I didn't hear that guy fucking saying anything during Gaston's stupid 5 dozen eggs song.
I'm glad.
Why doesn't he have salmonella? What's wrong?
Yeah, that guy's gonna die from cholesterol in like 2 years.
Oh my god.
Loving the time of cholera, indeed.
So we've only said some things that we regret. Now let us move on to saying all the things that we regret.
Oh, I think we can cover it. I think we got this.
Team Jazzladdin, cut to the quick, I guess.
So you guys like to bring up the fact that Aladdin does indeed lie to Jasmine. And you seem to draw the conclusion that this means that Aladdin is inherently dishonest. And this is very much not true. The one thing that he lies to her about is being a prince. And the reason he does this is because the society that they are in will legally prevent them from getting together if he isn't royalty. Like, he has no chance with her unless everyone believes that he's a prince. That's the only reason he does it, and that's the only lie he ever tells to her.
He lies about how he acts. He changes his entire personality, his voice, everything when he's Prince Ali. It's not like he just says, oh, I'm Ali, but really I act the same as Aladdin. No, I'm a fucking douchebag who thinks you want some guy with fucking elephants and giraffes and, I don't know, making
That's clearly
stands.
That's clearly
Also-
his opinion on rich people, actually.
And also when he tells the genie that he's not setting him free, the line from the genie is, "You've lied to everyone else. I was starting to feel left out."
The genie is the one who makes the giant parade. He's the one who has the big old floating gorilla balloon.
Yeah.
Like, that's not Aladdin.
Yeah.
He said, I want to be a prince, and Robin Williams' genie is like, oh, hell yeah!
I'm a party coordinator so hard.
I think he works in one parade-related wish per master. That's my theory on the genie.
You said that Belle saw Beast's inner beauty from the beginning, but it's like a whole new season before Belle is like, oh, hey, maybe he's not a total dickhole.
No, I said from the moment he saved her and he started to soften and get out of his shell.
Yeah, because as soon as he changes, she becomes much softer toward him. The scene where she eats soup the same way he does because he can't eat it with a spoon is like the first scene after they have that little fight.
You guys were talking a lot about how Belle and the Beast are going to have a bigger advantage over Aladdin and Jasmine because their movie takes place over a longer period of time, and therefore they spend more time together. My question to you is, have you looked at some of those Newlywed Game questions? Like, they're not the sorts of topics that regularly come up in conversation. A lot of them are things like, if your mother-in-law was an animal, what animal would she be? Or like, what drinks best describe your wedding night experience? Those types of questions don't depend on the number of empirical facts you've absorbed from each other. They depend on your empathic understanding of and connection to one another.
Yeah, like, what is this person
knowing
gonna
their
say?
personality?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like knowing their family.
Yeah, knowing where they're from, knowing how they act, knowing their voice, knowing what the fuck they look like when they don't have their little fez hat on.
Yeah, exactly. Belle and the Beast, you know, it's true that the game is not necessarily based on, like, specific facts that you know about each other, but they spend time together and they get to know each other, whereas Jasmine and Aladdin, it's a fucking whirlwind and they don't ever talk about each other.
From my personal experience of playing games like that, the couple who has been together the longest always wins.
I think Belle could probably infer a lot about Beast, but Beast is really self-absorbed.
By the end, he's like, go to your father, clearly you love him.
Yeah, and then he just mopes about it the whole time while his people are getting killed by,
I'm gonna be
by a
stuck
mob.
as a beast for the rest of his life.
Also, they're not
boo-hoo.
being killed. They kick ass.
Some people want to be furries. You're lucky. Lucky beast, fuck you.
That wasn't
I
a thing
won't-
in France.
I don't need to respond to that. I don't need to respond to that right now at all.
Well, that got ugly and our family will never be the same.
Nope.
Although it's clear skies in real life, emotionally and romantically, we have entered into the lightning round.
Ugh.
Oh,
No.
damn you, Enchantress.
I'm all out of wishes.
What are you doing to me now?
It's not that we don't all love a monarchy. Certainly, history has shown them to be very popular. But it's 2017, and kingdoms are out. Boutique hipster businesses are in.
Oh, no.
In a world where you're no longer ruling from a castle or palace, and you have to find a way to keep yourselves in the style to which you've become accustomed, what business will you open? A bar that serves vintage soda? A yarn shop / indie record label office? A spa where the staff only speaks in lines from Lars von Trier films? I expect only the finest free-range vegan artisanal bullshit. As you describe to me what you sell or provide, what the name of your business is, how you've decorated your business to appeal to your oversized sweater-wearing customer base, how or where you advertise, and, if you'd like to, name any other Disney characters that might frequent your establishment.
Oh, man.
Team Jazzladden, since you went last in the opening round, you will go first in the lightning round.
So the establishment that Jasmine and Aladdin have opened is called Fourth Wish. It's kind of an ethnic food restaurant, but it's the sort that's decorated to be pretentious enough that white people who want to appear worldly go there a lot. But they don't do any research on the food, so they don't know that it's just a mishmash of all sorts of food from all over the place.
Oh, so much fusion.
It's an ambiguously ethnic restaurant. The decorations, of course, it looks like the Palace of Agrabah with the big sort of domed caps on top. They advertise through clouds of smoke, whether that be through cigarettes or through, smoke coming off of fireplaces, because Genie is, of course, their main advertising spokesman. They do also have some other Disney characters that work there with them. Mainly other characters from Disney movies with an imperfect understanding of cultural representation. So, they have Mulan, they have Moana, they have Pocahontas, all of the ones that are just ethnic enough that, white people can feel worldly by saying that they really like them.
Ouch. Ouch.
Oh.
I'm gonna say Jasmine. She got some fashion sense. That girl, yeah. So she's gonna open up a little fashion boutique called Diamond the Rough. She got a lot of her ideas from Aladdin. It's gonna look like an abandoned building on the outside, except for the sign. But when you go in, it's bigger on the inside. It looks like a palace. So it's gonna be quite.
Oh shit! I'm all about that.
Yeah. She got pretty inspired by Aladdin's MC Hammer pants game. So she's gonna sell all kinds of. She's gonna bring it back. She's bringing back the pants. She's bringing back the fezzes. All the hipsters gonna be wearing fezzes and vests now, and every article of clothing has a monkey-sized couple. So you and your pets can dress the same always. How do they advertise? They're gonna buy a lot of elephants and and camels. And yeah, they're gonna walk around the streets. I thought tigers for a moment, but that's probably not gonna fly. So the animals with the advertisements are gonna walk around.
Monkeys scampering around, putting up signs.
Yeah, and stealing. But again,
Yes.
monkeys. The only person I can think of shopping there, I feel like Cruella de Vil's gonna see some tiger print and be like, ooh. And then realize it's faux, and she's like, fuck.
Nothing died to make this. I'm sad.
Yep.
That's wow. I mean, I appreciate both the harsh and unrelenting rebuke to Disney, and also one of my favorite stores happens to be very much like the one that Kip mentioned. So I was like,
Oh, really?
I am one of those people. Yeah, I love All Saints a lot. Well, enough about my sad preferences. Tell me about your business interests, Team Beastel.
So our business is called Enchanted Entourage. And
Whoa.
There's two major things that we sell in Enchanted Entourage. The first thing that we sell is a bunch of furniture with faces in it.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. Hand-carved faces, all different,
no.
painstaking craftsmanship
Oh,
of
no.
any kind of, with any expression that you want.
The toilet? The toilet?
I mean, if that's what you want, go for it.
That one only comes with a horrified expression, though.
We're dealing with some weird people. The other thing that we sell are spell books, so that if you want to enchant your own furniture to have it do things around the house for you, you can do that too.
Oh, it's gonna be
That's obviously like the more top end stuff. Like the spell books are kind of like the hidden menu at like In-N-Out Burger, you know? So only the real patrons, like the ones who go next level, get access to that shit.
So you too can live out your Sorcerer's Apprentice dreams?
Yep.
Basically.
The decor would be very gothic, you know, lots of gargoyles. It's gonna kind of look like Hot Topic used to when I was like 13.
In terms of advertising, well, first of all, obviously we have a sponsorship deal with IKEA. So
Oh no,
that's
is
gonna
it a maze? Store a maze like IKEA?
Just dotted with Swedish meatballs.
Oh god.
a major source of revenue. We'll also be advertising in like a bunch of kind of like niche, like kind of Wiccan magazines, stuff like that. You know, all those old like gothic horror story magazines. You know, stuff that will attract the right kind of person.
We want to bring in people who watch like The Crow.
Right. You know, we want people who will like look at a movie where some inanimate object like starts talking to them and then maybe haunts them for a while and think, where can I get one of those?
So big Chucky fans in your store?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Although we were thinking more like it's going to attract a lot of people who are kind of like, you know, have the emo thing going on. One of the really ironic and beautiful things about the store, because irony is a big hipster thing, you know, is that the Beast and Belle are like a totally happy, well-adjusted couple running this place, but the people who come in are just like those people who write poetry about how much pain they're in. So, you know, Quasimodo spends a lot of time in there. You know, for example, he tries to drag Esmeralda in, but like she's really reluctant.
And Hugo and Victor and Laverne too. They should all be there because they're gargoyles.
Yeah,
they
absolutely.
can just chill.
The fucking the trainer from Hercules, he shows up a lot.
Phil!
Yeah.
Phil's gonna be there!
I love Belle.
I love Phil too!
I think probably our best customer though is Ursula. She shows up all the time, and
totally.
she actually she's become such a big fan of the store that she does a lot of free advertising for us, in that she goes out and convinces people to sign documents giving us their money in exchange for our products before they even step through the doors.
Wow.
Hades kind of chills there. Maybe Pain and Panic.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think Maleficent probably shows up there a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's a
you know, when she,
That's a villain hangout for sure.
When she can
Yeah,
get away,
she-
you know, during the summer break at Hogwarts.
I was going to say she comes in to look at books for her transfiguration classes.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, this has been really
A thing.
It's absolutely been an event that happened. That has happened to me, that I made happen. And now it's in my heart. So I'm going to go away now and think about what I've done.
That's a
Goodbye.
dark road to walk.
Goodbye!
I will say that I think the Beast could probably grow a pretty killer, like, hipster handlebar mustache.
Oh, dude.
Oh my God.
Oh, you know it.
As long as he doesn't use curlers in his hair anymore, I think we'll be okay.
Oh my god. I'm actually really surprised you guys didn't want to include the Aladdin sequels, because I feel like it gives you more ground to cover in terms of their relationship.
Yeah, we were just like time constraints. Let's just go with the movies that everyone knows.
I swear to God, when you were talking about how Belle doesn't have like any physical fitness, I wanted to be like, she chopped down a tree!
Look, I'll be real. Those movies, like, you can't find them for rent online, and you can only buy them for like $15 each. So,
Well, fortunately, we didn't have that problem with the Aladdin movies.
Because maybe I own like every single Disney movie possible to own.
look, I'd be lying if I was to claim that my watches of Return of Jafar weren't into the high double digits when I was a kid.
Yeah, I used
So-
to watch
Okay.
the television show. I loved it, but like I don't remember.
All right, that movie's fucking garbage.
Oh, it's
that
it's
movie
the worst.
is garbage.
It's so bad.
We were more than halfway done when you guys decided that we weren't using the sequels. We were more
when
than
you reminded
halfway
us, yeah.
done watching Return of Jafar, and we had already watched Beast and Belle: The Enchanted Christmas.
Which was actually really good.
it is really good.
Okay,
The-
maybe I'll
the-
watch that one at some point.
Enchanted Christmas is good shit. It has Tim Curry as an animated like organ.
Oh god, it's amazing.
that-
Like a
Like
villain organ, like he
Like a
plays
huge
music.
organ in the basement that's like Beast's best friend.
Wow.
But of course he's evil because he's Tim Curry.
Yeah, that's Tim.
So do you guys think that the director of the sanitarium in Belle's hometown,
You mean Dark?
is that his name, Dark?
Talking about my boy Dark?
I guess I'm talking about Monsieur Dark.
Do you know how it's spelled?
D-
It's spelled D''ARQUE.
Sure, all right, little on the nose there. Do you think he is somehow related to other French Disney villain Frollo, given that they are voiced by the same actor?
And they look the same?
They look the same.
Is that the guy?
His
that guy's from-
great-great-grandfather.
That's from Hunchback?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tony J
Yeah,
is
okay.
the actor's name.
I was more concerned about the fact that that plot line never goes anywhere.
Right? Oh, man.
There's like no reason for it to be there.
They're just like, hey, we have Tony J for the weekend. Can we just, like, shoehorn him into this movie?
But I still love both these original films. They're really great.
Oh, yeah. Beauty and the Beast is my favorite Disney
It
animated
is,
film.
yeah, it's my favorite. I saw it, my mom took me to go see it when I was 5. We saw it in theaters. I was in love.
went to the sing-along. It was good stuff.
Oh, the sing-along.
I had to text a buddy of mine who asked me what I was doing that afternoon. Let him know that I was going to the Beauty and the Beast sing-along.
Nice.
No regrets.
Yep.
Hashtag no regrets.
Look, man, if he gives you shit for that, you know who your friends aren't, is all I'm gonna
That's
say.
right. That's right.
I like Aladdin way more than Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast has some pretty fucking amazing music, and I think Belle's song in the beginning is my fave.
Yeah.
I just love all the voices in it, and it's good. It progresses really well.
I will say this: we don't usually hear when we go down to the local gay bar to do karaoke. We don't usually hear them singing Beauty and the Beast songs, but Aladdin songs. Oh hell yeah!
Oh, I believe it.
all the
yeah.
time.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm back.
Hi, Bob.
This is one of the ones where I was like, I was both so proud and so angry that you both did such a good job. Like, I was really delighted, but also like, God damn it. Now it's hard, and I don't like hard things.
All right.
Oh man.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks.
Starting on innuendo and ending on innuendo. Love it.
And you're in.
Okay, I don't like difficult things.
There you go.
There was no answer I could give that isn't going to really piss off half the Disney community, I presume. So, Jazz Aladdin won.
Yeah.
What?
No, I want to say
What?
it had... No, I know, believe me. Dan fucking used car salesman the fuck out of their sort of improv abilities. And by the end, I was like, okay, yeah, I can see how they managed to get things done in a playful way that is really collaborative, even under horrific circumstances or really dangerous circumstances. So I was like, okay, if they can do that under those circumstances, then everything else is like easy peasy. That is not to say that you guys did not bring a powerful argument. It is just that Dan could sell, I don't know, could sell a thing to people who didn't need a thing.
You gotta not be drawn in by him. It's fine. I accept your decision. I just want to say that
It's the wrong
my
one,
back
though,
is already
apparently.
in kind of crappy condition right now, and the fact that it's gonna get even worse after tonight's sleeping on the couch is gonna be your fault.
Oh,
It's gonna be your fault
what?
because I let Sharon down and she's not gonna let me into the bed tonight. So
No.
That is so
Yeah.
No, you guys, this would have been
No,
like if we lost, like I was totally prepared to lose, and I was gonna be like, this is gonna be the first time in a long time where I'm not mad that I lost. I think like you guys would have like totally deserved it.
you guys
Thank
agree?
you.
You guys
You
brought
guys
it,
did
man.
great.
Yeah. I think in this case it's safe to say y'all came harder than us.
Oh, God. This is going to be my army of Sauron versus Daenerys. This is going to be the one that keeps me up at night forever. And I will never feel totally at peace with it because
Yep.
ultimately I think it's both of you, but I can't, that's not how this podcast works.
Welcome
Yeah.
to being a Smash Fic
So
judge,
now
man.
I just have to...
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan is definitely loses sleep over the Daenerys Mordor one because I keep fucking waking him up and going, why?
Yes.
On a side note, I'm
Ooh,
pretty
I like
sure
it.
this means that Kid is undefeated in Valentine's Day matches.
Yeah, that's very true.
Oh shit.
Because, by the way, audience, this is a Valentine's Day match, even though it's going out a couple of days after Valentine's Day.
Thank you, Dan.
whatever.
I was gonna do that subtly, but thank you for just laying it
Well,
right out
you know,
there. I
look,
appreciate
Whatever.
It's going out on the 19th. We can't really hide
Not
it.
everyone goes out on Valentine's on Valentine's. It's
Yeah.
impossible to get a fucking seat anywhere.
For those of you that are celebrating late, there you go. Happy Valentine's.
When it comes to your subtlety in that regard, you are a regular Aladdin, sir.
I'm as upfront as Aladdin is.
You son of a bitch. I hate you so much, and I love you.
Man.
Sharon, thank you so much for joining us. This is really,
my
really
God.
fun.
Thank you for
You
having
were
me.
amazing. You were a fucking delight, and you sing
Aw.
like a goddamn angel.
Thank you.
All right, we have thanks to do.
Yeah. First in Twitter. Thank you to Cosplay Fiend, Law and Disorder Podcast, Neil Butler, Sharon Holden. Who's that?
Interesting.
Nathaniel Westover, Rafael Medina, and Politipop for tweeting about us or our episodes. Thank you so much. Okay. We got fan art. Beep,
Yep,
beep, beep,
fan
beep,
art
beep,
alert.
beep. Oh, so good. Okay, so Grayson Leal drew us Archer blinding himself during the Triceratops Stampede, which is what I'm...
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Where is this?
It's on Twitter.
Where's my phone? It's my goddamn phone.
Pay attention to Twitter.
I do!
But yeah, it's one of my favorite moments. That very well placed flare moment.
Maybe the
amazing.
most Archer moment we've
Yeah.
had in the entire
So
show.
good. I love it. Thank you for drawing that, Grayson. And then At a Sunny Boy took one of my suggestions about the quote yin yang of assholery.
Oh, that's so good.
And yeah, it's like a yin yang with Archer and Dante overlaid on it.
It's so good.
It's so perfect.
Yeah, excellent job on the fan art, you guys. You're killing it.
And then Cosplay Fiend keeps making memes for Liz. I swear, every time they make a meme, I have to screenshot it and send it to Liz because she refuses social media. She's like, nope. She is a space judge. She doesn't get shit up in space, I guess. And then she's like, oh, Cosplay Fiend, my boy! She's so happy. You make her day. Thank you. Now over to Tumblr. Thank you to By Fortune Fire and Sid Rabbit Blog for reblogging Morpheus versus Limu Bai. And Facebook, thank you to Andy Hunt for sharing League, and Jeffrey Ketchum happened to mention that he narrowed down his podcast consumption to 4 podcasts only, and we are one of them. So thank you. Thank you for liking us so much that you didn't get rid of it.
That's a narrow cut. I don't think I could do that.
Thank you. And we got a lovely email. New fan Anthony Krepp has listened to every episode. I wonder how long that took. I'm always impressed when people give us the time frame, and it's always like, no, how could you?
Yeah.
But they didn't no time frame. But says, listen to every episode, thought they weren't going to like League, but now they're on episode 3 and they love it, so thank you.
Yes.
That's like Dan's baby. But yeah, he said that JD Ketch, his friend JD Ketch, recommended the show to him. I'm pretty sure that's Jeffrey Ketchum.
The aforementioned 4 podcast Jeffrey Ketch.
Yes. They did have a couple questions. One of them was, when you're judging, how does the lightning round factor into your decisions? The more creative response, the better. We did kind of address that in, what was it, the anniversary episode?
Yeah, the first anniversary.
Yeah, the first anniversary episode, we had a question about that.
We each answered a little bit differently, but I think by now it doesn't factor too much for most of us. If you want like the detailed response, I'd say just listen to the anniversary app.
We also have a new iTunes review.
Ooh.
Nice.
So this one comes to us from D20 Chick, who I'm guessing is probably Viola Miles.
It is definitely Viola.
Okay, I thought it was Viola. The review is titled Best in Its Class and gives us 5 stars. Hilarious, informative, and creative, just like you're hoping. What makes this one better than the rest? The hosts take turns talking and have distinct voices. The hosts stick to the topic. The framing device gives each episode a narrative feeling rather than meandering aimlessly. The rotating cast of hosts, combatants, and battle scenarios keeps it fresh. I have listened to lots of podcasts with similar goals, but they all tend to lack the above qualities. Geeky podcasts usually require the audience to have vast amounts of background knowledge, but the hosts of Smash Fiction give context without lecturing. They talk about characters in such a way that listeners can infer details, even those we've never heard of. Also, multi-host podcasts are often plagued with tangents and in-jokes, leaving the listener behind. Smash Fiction sticks to the fun, and despite the argumentative setup, the hosts manage to collaborate toward a fun battle rather than boring petty bickering you find in other Versus-style podcasts. Thank you, Smash Fiction, for redeeming whole swaths of podcast genres for me.
The best thing about Viola is even though we know her, if she hated it, she would have given it like 1 star and wrote just as big of a bad review.
Well, I'm glad that that's what people are picking up on, because when we were sitting down to talk about how this podcast was going to go, like, we were very specifically trying to avoid a lot of those pitfalls. And so I'm glad that was communicated to our wider audience.
And a lot of that was the result of my conversations with Viola about what we liked about podcasts.
Oh, was it really?
So yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense.
Very good,
So,
very good.
yeah,
That review was so good. When we finally get a website going, I want like that to be, in quotes as some of the customer responses.
Yeah.
That's going to go on the page.
Testimonials.
So good. I just wanted to mention real quick, if you're not on social media and didn't see me announce it already, if you're into a more of a D&D actual play, I appear on the Death Save podcast. Episodes, I believe, 16 through 19. They're basically starting a new story, so you won't feel lost if you want to just jump in.
Of course, the gentlemen of Death Save have appeared on our show twice.
Indeed.
So. Thanks, guys. We love you.
Happy Capitalist Chocolate Day!
Thank you so much for listening to this smoochy episode of Smash Fiction. Come back next week for Hermione Granger versus Willow Rosenberg.
Smash Fiction is produced by Miles Schneiderman, with logo design by Colin Mulcairn.
Special thanks to Kevin MacLeod for our theme song, which is called Hitman. You can find his work at www.incompetech.com.
You can follow the Smash Fiction podcast on Twitter at SmashFicPodcast and search for us on Facebook and Tumblr.
Subscribe on iTunes, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
Okay.
Oh, God.
That's
Where can I get
very
me one of
lovely.
those fucking magic roses? But like a reverse one.
The Rose of Furriness? We'll
The
find
rose
you
of furriness. Can I just be
Oh god, so
worry.
much better than Naked Beast. No, Prince
Don't-
Adam. Go away, Prince Adam.
Oh,
I
he's
know.
got like
That was
some
a real
Botox
disappointment
shit
to you
going
and me.
on.
Anyway.
When did Aladdin and Jasmine get to learn these things? Let me start that sentence.